What is up? What is up? What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Donovan was not fake. Not fake. They're still in on Brendan Donovan. Bryce was not fake. So, as we know right now, the Dodgers are trying to put over the finish line a trade for Tarek Skubal. And they signed Edwin Diaz earlier to a 3-year deal, took him away from the Mets. 3 years, $69 million, $23 million per year, with some of that deferred. So, Jonathan, how are we doing? Shout out to the chat, everybody in there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Smack that thumbs up and that like button if you don't mind. Jake Petrozzi. It's not over yet. This is not over yet. They're in discussions on a lot of trades, but again, there is no need for them to do a panic overpay just because other teams are doing it, right? The asking prices are super high. Okay? They're still active on the Donovan talks. It's a multiplayer trade discussion. Okay. So it wasn't fake. It wasn't fake, Jacob. The market's so slow because the prices are very high. All right. Prices are very high. Right. So who's packing up? Tomorrow's the Rule 5 draft. There's still things that are happening tonight. Stream canceled. What stream is canceled for tonight, AJ? Yeah, this is not a buyer's market right now. It's a good way of talking about it too. The Dodgers are owned by a giant corporation, and it's them. Yes Network. Yeah, that's yes. Yes Network doesn't have anything else to cover after today. That's why they packed. That doesn't. They don't. They're not the one. Hot Stove isn't the one that's going to be breaking any of the stuff, right? Yankees are Brian Cashman's still there, lurking around. He's in active discussion with Scott Boras on 3 of his clients. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of time here. Kyle Schwarber went back to the Phillies today. 5 years, $150 million. Gregory Soto just signed with the Pirates a little while ago. 1 year, $7.75 million. So they added a reliever. And yeah, I know they're in discussions with Rosario's people. They're in discussion with Austin Hayes people too, right? So Belly, MI, and Okamoto, Jacob. Okamoto is also represented by Scott Boras. Chia, what's up, Ace? What's going on, buddy? What's going on, brother? Yeah. Well, again, it just goes to show that it looks like the Mets they're now financially hamstrung because of the Soto signing last year. It looks like they weren't able to go the extra step for Edwin Diaz, right? So I don't know. Kevin's in the building. Yeah. Well, Diaz does want to win, but Diaz. Oh, we also found out that once they did not give Diaz a heads up phone call to even tell him they were signing Devin Williams. They just signed Devin Williams. That's one. At that point, he had 1 foot out the door. So Murakami might happen, but not the Yankees. We're hearing talks about him potentially getting a big offer from the Angels. We'll see, right? Info and Mackenzie Gore. What about him? The lefty pitcher, 27 years old, decent frontline pitcher from the Washington Nationals. Smiling John Boy next. That was a couple hours ago. Yeah, but like I said, if you didn't hear, the Dodgers are trying to finalize a trade for Tarek Skubal. I don't know if it's going to happen, but they're pushing hard for it tonight. So, yeah, call down Nelson Cruz. Jose Nelson. Yeah, he's moving. Look, he's moving how he's moving. You know, the prices are really high. There's no need for him to step in and do a massive overpay for this just because, right? No. And the Yankees for a while, a lot of teams aren't doing much because the prices are way too high. Look at all the big fish, aside from Kyle Schwarber and Edwin Diaz. Pretty much all the other big fish are still out there. Nobody's signing them. Right? Nobody's signing them. The Yankees are in active trade talks for a couple of different players. We'll see what actually happens, but until they've been active this whole entire week. One of the more active teams in discussions. A lot of the chat is revolving around what the Yankees are doing. So I highly doubt Fernando Tatis to the Yankees is going to happen. You know, so did the Mets, and the Mets had the best farm. Yeah, how did they get the best farm in baseball? They traded away Verlander, they traded away Scherzer, and got big time draft picks. They didn't draft those guys. They were acquired for big players that were expensive. That's why they have the best farm in baseball. The Mets. They have some other players too, but they got a lot of their big prospects in from trades. Yep. Gregory Soto went for 7.75 to the Pirates. Yep. Dodgers are owned by the Guggenheim Group. They're a $500 billion corporation. That's why. Yeah, I don't really. Nightingale doesn't cover the Yankees. Heyman doesn't cover the Yankees. Neither does a lot of these. Neither do a lot of these other guys. So, not that I know of, Hector. No, Hector's doing some other stuff tonight, as far as I know. So I don't think King's going to sign with the Yankees now. JXV, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. Scott Boras Genius moved to smack the Mets in the face. Up Alonso Market. Diaz to the Dodgers signing makes them. Yeah, it's gonna. If they want to bring back, JXV, thank you for super chat, man. Appreciate the generosity. If they want to bring back Alonso, they're probably gonna have to overpay now. But I'm hearing that they're not willing to go beyond 3 years for Alonso. But they're likely gonna have. They're definitely gonna have to go more than 3 years for Alonso. So. Yeah. Tatum? Who's Tatum? John Copper. Who's Tatum? Chen. Appreciate you, Chen. Well, that's Boras's job. He gets his clients paid. That's his job, to get his clients paid. The better he gets them paid, the better his commission is. So, that's why players love to go to him. He makes them money. He's brought a lot of, additional revenue and stuff to the game. He's hated by everybody but the players. So, Framber Valdez, if I had to guess, either the Mets or the Orioles. Something like that. Jason Tatum from the Boston Celtics. Yes, they are pushing hard for Donovan. There's a lot of layers to that potential trade that's being discussed. Multiplayers. They're also fielding offers on JC Escara. That's something I've talked about for about a month now. They're actually fielding offers on Escara to try to find a fit for the bullpen. Then, if they can get for Escara, who's got 5 years of control, so that they're looking for a reliever for JC Escara. So we'll see. If the Yankees get Donovan, I'll do my Big Mac and apple pie. You got that right. And keep in mind, just because it doesn't happen this week at the winter meetings, there's still 2 months left in the offseason. So a lot of stuff is still going to happen. Pete Alonso, I would imagine he probably regrets it. If money was his impetus, then probably. But he could probably still make something close to it now. But I don't think it would be from the Mets. Right. So well, that was a lot of they were gaining steam for 2 days in a row on Donovan. I don't think they flip Jazz if they get Donovan. No, I don't think they're gonna flip Jazz at all. It's one of the main events, CWE, not the only main event. The winter meetings is a springboard, clearly, for a lot of other stuff that's going to happen afterward. So, it's just we never know when it's going to be. Sometimes the winter meetings are big time, sometimes they're not. So, the Red Sox go ahead, get Seager. I don't care. They're not out on Donovan. I don't know, Alex. Waiting to see. I got my thing right here. I'm waiting for updates. I'm waiting for got two people out there covering winter meetings. So I'm believe me, I am. Let's see. Nah, nothing yet right here. I don't know. There's a lot of chatter saying the Mackenzie Gore is going to get traded. Oh, right now I just got something. The Padres. Listen to this. The Padres are taking calls on Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon, and Jeremiah Estrada. Three big relievers. If that's the case, I could see a Yankees Padres trade. If I'm them, I would be all over Mason Miller and Estrada. All over them. I try to get both. Mason Miller. Yep, they're feeling calls on Miller. This surprised me, but the Padres are in a precarious financial spot. They got to sell the team in this fight, this infighting over who the hell is going to take control of the team. So if you can get Miller, yo, you you have to get him. I mean, my God, they did sell the farm for Miller. Now they're in a bad spot, and there's a lot of infighting with the owners. So this also could be a reason why Cashman is staying quiet, right? Well, I'm also hearing that they're listening on Jackson Merrill, the outfielder. But could you imagine? And when they asked him, he's always up for a big splash. So I could see another Yankees Padres trade. That would be insanity if that was the case. My God. Oh, wait, hold on a second here. It looks like more people are talking about the Dodgers and Scuba right now. Whoa, man. Wow. Okay, I did not know the Padres were fielding calls on those guys. Tatis is 26 years old. He's got 10 years left on his deal. So, what would I give up for Merrill and Miller? Jones or Dominguez? Will Warren, Luis Hill. They're looking for starting pitching. Um, some prospects and like a pitching prospect. I give him a pretty good amount. A pretty good amount. I mean, Merrill's on a $15 million a year contract. They extended him early. He's only 22 years old. So, um, I don't think. Honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to trade Tatis. I don't think they're going to trade Tatis. But this, yeah, the chatter is picking up right now on Scooble to the Dodgers. So, but I mean, I would rather. Honestly, I would rather get Mason Miller and then go. You know, just get freaking Austin Hayes for the outfield or something like that. Somebody who has lefties well. Right. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, like Pete Alonso could be a steal for somebody. Yankees got to probably, they need to bring in probably 3 relievers. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We have almost 200 people in here. Smack that like button, gang. Let's try to get to 200 likes as quickly as we can. I appreciate you. For those of you, if you're just hearing, the Padres are taking phone calls right now on Mason Miller. I've been talking about Jeremiah Estrada for like the last 2 weeks, right? And even Adrian Morejon, I mentioned him yesterday, but now Mason Miller apparently is available. Like, that would be insanity. But this is the Yankees have a tendency, they have a good relationship with the Padres. So Austin Hayes is a free agent, yes. Yes, indeed. It looks like the Dodgers are trying to finalize a trade right now for Scuba. I would personally rather sign Tatsuya Imai. Dominguez for Miller. I would drive Dominguez personally to San Diego. Yep, I'll drive him. If you can get Mason Miller, man, like, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, Diamondbacks definitely gonna look for a big package for Ketel Marte. So, Imai would be a starting pitcher for us, yes. And you can even start him in long relief the first year and then keep going, right? And then kind of transition to a starter. Mason Miller and If you can get Estrada and Mason Miller, my God. Dominguez, Warren, and 1-2. Yeah, I would do that. Yeah. Those are monster relievers. Monster relievers. That's what, I would sign up. 71 likes. We got just under 200 people in here. Anybody who hasn't hit that thumbs up, please do. Please show your boy some love. I appreciate it. It's always helpful to the channel. It's always helpful in these live streams when we get the likes up. And it's always greatly appreciated. Who would the Yankees trade for Mason Miller? Well, the Dodgers need, I mean, the Padres need an outfielder who hits lefty. Send them Jason Dominguez, number one. Mason Miller becomes the closer, yeah. Like, I had trouble. I had trouble if Edwin Diaz. I didn't think Edwin Diaz was going to come here, but I didn't want to move Bednar from the closer position for Edwin Diaz. I would be willing to move him, and I would give him a heads up first and let him know we have a chance to bring in Mason Miller. Are you okay being a setup guy? I don't think he would have a problem knowing that it's Mason Miller. Dominguez, Hampton, Arias, Selvage. I don't know, but I personally, I wouldn't go after Gore until we find out what happens with Imai from Japan. Yeah, Scott Boras is looking at 7, 8 years for Bellinger. Yankees are at like at I think 4 or 5, which is more representative of probably what I'm comfortable with too. But I understand, like now you got freaking, with Schwarber's money today, 5 years, 150 million. I don't think Bellinger's going to be any cheaper, and he's younger than Schwarber. So we got 2 months left in the offseason, guys. 2 months. There's going to be 2 months left. Marte, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Phillies. There's several teams in on Keita Marte. I wouldn't go 6 for Bellinger personally, but that's just me. But side to me, somebody might. He's going to try to get the Mets to overpay now. Now that they lost out on Diaz, maybe he'll try to get the Mets to overpay, right? I don't think he'll get 6, 7, or 8 years either. Chocolate, yeah. I doubt Marte's in the Yankees going to happen. Where would you play him? Yeah. Get Mason Miller, man, and one of those other relievers from the Padres. I'm shocked that they're taking calls on all 3 of them. Like, wow. Mm-mm-mm. Looking down just to see if there's anything else here. And again, you never know when this stuff is going to happen. Like, okay, here's some update here. I'm hearing that the Scooble deal is essentially in place. The pieces have already agreed to. The framework is done. What's holding it up now is the long-term extension ownership approval in Detroit. The Tigers won't greenlight it without the owners' sign off, and the Dodgers won't ship out that kind of haul without a long-term commitment from Scooble. That's the final hurdle. So they're almost at the goal line, apparently, according to these reports. That's the latest on Scooble to the Dodgers tonight. So it looks like the framework the players have already been agreed to. Emmett Sheehan, and I think is one of them. So Luis Robert, no. Mm-mm. I have other guys in mind. Not for $20 million for Luis Robert, no. How is deferred money? Yeah, it's in the CBA, collective bargaining agreement. They've created loopholes to make it easier for this type of stuff to happen, right? So there's reporting, live reporting right now, stats Rob, from Dodgers reporting. Mhm. Dodgers rolling on this. Tigers rolling on this. Yeah. MLB reporting. The Mets signing Adolis Garcia. Maybe. I wouldn't say clowns. Well, the Dodgers have a built-in advantage, man. They're owned by half a trillion dollar corporation. Yankees are not. They can leverage debt and just pawn it off for the next decade. And they already have $1 billion in contracts deferred for the next decade. $1 billion. So I don't know the Yankees need to trade for Ketel Marte. Where would you play him? Where would you play Marte? I'm not moving Jazz for him. Jazz is 5 years younger than him. If we didn't have Jazz, maybe different story, but I wouldn't do it. Yeah, they're trying to get Scooble to agree. As a Boras client, he's trying to get him, and the extension is going to be huge. So Yeah, Donovan trade would be nice. Mhm. But like now that we know, like I wonder if Cashman's like, well, shit, let's try to make a deal with the Padres now. Like if I'm seeing this stuff, he's got to be seeing it too. Mhm. Yeah, there won't be a salary cap, Marvin. I'm with Jonathan, and I do know about it. So there won't be a salary cap. The players' union would never allow it. No talks on Bo Bichette. No, no. Udall. Yeah, Boras. I mean, that's what. Look, man. That's his shtick, right? So yeah. Let's be respectful in here, guys. We're almost at 100 likes. We have 220 people in here, and we're not at 100 likes yet. Anybody who hasn't hit that thumbs up, if you don't mind, just press that button. It's very, very helpful in these live streams. Nobody's saying that the Yankees don't have a lot of money, but they're not owned by a half a trillion dollar corporation either. Hal does care about winning. If he didn't care about winning, his payroll wouldn't be $100 million higher than George Steinbrenner's highest payroll was. He also is not going to hamstring the team for a decade like the Dodgers are going to do. They're going to pay Otani $68 million a year when he's not playing for them. Hector's out working, man. He's out working. Marvin, be respectful, dude. Be respectful, man. There are other streams and channels for that type of talk. This is not one of them, man. It's the only rule I have is just be respectful to people. Cost of living is way higher in New York. Yep. I mean, New York and California. Yeah, I mean, like, this is why Cash doesn't leak information. He works behind the scenes with this type of stuff, right? So, well, and just like we just found out like 15 minutes ago that the Padres are taking calls on Mason Miller. It's going to take some time. If they're taking calls, I mean, and if it's true, Hal's not the only person who's likely going to call them. There's going to be other teams and GMs and going to want Mason Miller too if he becomes available. Cashman makes them, but if it's an aggressive one that causes a lot of money, he has to get approval from Hal. Hal signs off on anything that adds payroll. Anything that adds payroll. Yeah, Cronenworth, we don't need Cronenworth. But those other relievers, I would be all about those the relievers. Nothing on. I have people giving me feeds live from the winter meetings. So, and there is stuff online. Yep, there is stuff online. What else we got here? The Red Sox have the best prospect package offer out right now for Ketel Marte. It doesn't say what it is, but the Red Sox have the best offer out to Marte. Hal signs off on anything that adds payroll. Yep. Let's see. What else we got here? Uh, let's see. I mean, the Red Sox are discussing Corey Seager, but they have Trevor Story there, don't they? So the Phillies are they are trying to bring back Real Muto just as an FYI, Siciliano. They are trying to bring him back, but they are fielding offers tonight on JC Escara too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Escara. They're trying to trade him for a reliever. So and the Padres need a catcher. The Padres need a catcher. So keep that in mind. He could be part of a Padres trade. Yeah, they said last year that they said the same thing last year. When the Mets signed Soto, they were going to run New York. Yankees would be a fourth place team. Neither one of them happened. So yeah, I don't buy into that. Yeah, Don Mattingly, man, he's got to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. You don't name your sources, otherwise they stop being sources. Otherwise, I would have a source on here. I've had somebody the last 2 days live reporting from the winter meetings on the channel on the live stream at the winter meetings. Mason Miller, Estrada, Tatis, Jones, Dominguez, Lombard, Escari, Elmore, Rodriguez, Cruz. Damn, that's a monster trade. Dominguez, Escar for Mason Miller. I would do that trade. Dominguez and Escar for Mason Miller. I would do that trade. Yankees don't have as many catchers anymore. They traded away 8 catchers in the last 3 years, which is crazy. There's a lot of moving parts right now, Hayden. There's a lot of stuff we're hearing. I just heard a little bit ago the Padres are fielding calls on Mason Miller now and some of these other relievers. So, let's see. Let's see. Looking. Anything else? Not right. Not just yet. That's what we know right now. But damn, if you somehow add Mason Miller, Dominguez and Escara and maybe another prospect, something like that. Miller, Tatis, Rice. Oh, I wouldn't move Rice. Not even for Tatis. Well, the Yankees are looking at for 2 righty bats, Siciliano. They are looking to add 2 righty bats, and Cashman did confirm that. Caratini can be a switch hitting catching option. Yeah, I mentioned him yesterday too, Victor Caratini. So the Cardinals do like Lagrange, and Elmer. I could see them getting Lagrange, not Elmer. I could see them getting Lagrange and like Luis Hill or something like that. It is true. Yeah, it is true. Let's see. I would move Hill too. Well, Tatis in his next 10 years, he makes 24 million a year for the next 4, and then 36 million a year for the last 6. So I know the Mattingly was trying to finalize the deal to be a bench coach for the Phillies. I'm not sure if it's happened yet, but yeah, I think Rice should be our first baseman. Rice should be our first baseman. Let's see. Let's see. 1 second. Taking a look again. No. Hill and LaGrange. I could see that, and you can get Donovan. Mattingly's son is the GM. Yep. Philip Rivers, yeah, 44 years old. I mean, they were desperate, so sucks for them losing Daniel Jones the way they did. Goldschmidt's not coming back. I don't think Tatis is going to happen, but some of these other guys can happen. These relievers from the Padres can happen. But Tatis, I would be shocked. There's a lot of moving parts, Larry. And again, there's a lot of moves that haven't been made yet. 99 likes. We need one more like to get to 100. One more like. Keep tapping that like button, everybody. We're just under 200 people in here. Appreciate you. So that's the latest and greatest from the winter meetings. It's like there's a lot of stuff heating up right now. With double check, I'm refreshing every minute. Yep, nothing. Should we sign who? Josh Bell? I'm not sure. Is he a switch hitter or just a lefty hitter? Josh Bell. What trades or talks, Jeremiah? And this is directly from Tigers, Padres. His posting window closes January 2nd, so he has to be signed before that. That's the timeline for the Japanese player. Yeah, there's a lot of chatter going on in the winter meetings right now. No, Donovan, it's still fluid. There's a lot of moving. The Yankees are in discussions for a lot of players. So I'm guessing the haggling is going to be the asking price. And I'm not surprised that they're have a high asking price for Donovan. So you could see something tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. But again, if they don't make a move tomorrow, the offseason is still 2 months left. So there's still 2 months left. Let's see. Yeah, I think Scott Boras is not. He's asking for too much on Cody Bellinger. But we'll see. They're not moving Jazz to the outfield for Marte. Yeah. How do I feel when fans say they're pissed off? It's okay for them to be pissed off. It's okay to be pissed off. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But the Rule 5 draft is tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. I mean, the draft lottery was tonight. And it looks like the Yankees are going to pick 35, their first pick. And for those that, let's see, haven't seen it, this is how the lottery: pick 17, Astros; pick 16, the Rangers; pick 15, the Diamondbacks; 14, the Marlins; 13, the Cardinals; 12, the Angels; 11, the Nationals; 10, the Rockies; 9, the Braves; 8, the Athletics; 7, the Orioles; 6, Kansas City Royals. Top 5 picks in the draft: number 5, Pirates; 4, the San Francisco Giants; 3, the Minnesota Twins; 2, the Tampa Bay Rays; and the number 1 pick in the draft goes to the Chicago White Sox. God bless you too, Kenneth, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, 109 likes. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Teams USA looks pretty good. A lot of players, Bryce. A lot of players. Same players we mentioned last night. Um, and now, I mean, this the Padres are now taking calls on Mason Miller, where they weren't before. They are. We found out about 15 minutes ago. So this could change the calculus when it comes to the Yankees, right? Like I said, players are available now that weren't available yesterday. This is why Yankees, I mean, don't need to jump and make desperate moves. Imagine he just traded for he signed Edwin Diaz to a stupid contract, and then Mason Miller becomes available today. Like, players the Yankees will get for I don't know, Med Rosario, some of the other players. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I think they're waiting for Tatsuya Mai for the rotation. But like I said, if you see my blueprint, if they got Imai, Okamoto, and Brendan Donovan, and then just address the bullpen, I will be real happy with that offseason. Real happy. Happy holidays to you too, Udall. Merry and happy, man. Mazel tov, my brother. Happy holidays, my friend. They miss out on Tucker and the Bellinger gets overpaid by the Mets. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't care either. Yeah, the Phillies will eat money on Castellanos. They're trying to get rid of him aggressively. Yeah, that's what I mean. San Diego might have to take it in the take it in the chin here. Yankees might be in a prime position to get something here that they weren't able to get yesterday. Right? This is one reason why Cashman doesn't leak information, especially to people that they can share on the hot stove. Right? So Okamoto will be a great one here. I don't know yet, CWE. The offseason's not over yet. I don't know what the Yankees team looks like. Uh, the Yankee fan, yeah. The Padres are taking calls on Mason Miller now, which is right, which wasn't before. So right hand, yeah. When they're fielding calls right now on JC Escarra, they're trying to flip him into a relief pitcher, and the Padres need relief, right? And they need, excuse me, the Padres need catching, so it lines up nicely. They need an outfielder who hits lefty too. Jason Dominguez is a perfect fit too. You can get something with Dominguez and Escarra, and then you can add a pitching prospect to that, or Luis Hill or Will Warren. You can get some pretty darn good pieces from the Padres. So, and my guess is they're going to keep Salas, the Padres. Ethan Salas, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, at least Tatis is giving them pretty decent value. Like, Xander Bogaerts, that contract's brutal. Padres. Oh, my God. Brutal. Yep. So we'll see what happens. Like, again, like, this is why I don't overreact yet. Like, at all. I try not to overreact at all because stuff like this happens. And all of a sudden you find out stuff we didn't know before. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why JC Escarra is a good prime candidate to go to the Padres. A deal that rivaled the Soto. Yeah. And now, I mean, you can get something like that. Could you imagine doing like Dominguez and Escarra and a couple of pitching prospects for Mason Miller and Jeremiah Estrada? That'd be a big ass trade. A big trade. Andrew, as of at about 20 minutes ago, the Padres have reported that they're fielding calls on Mason Miller now. They're a mess over there. Their ownership, they're fighting over, selling the team, who's going to take over and stuff. So now's the time. Now's a good time to jump in and try to get something. So does Lombard go on a trade for Miller? Uh, Miller and Estrada, maybe, maybe if you can get both of them. Nothing is set yet for the Yankees. Just like last year when the Mets, remember Mets signed Soto? We were getting trolled the whole offseason. Yankees are going to be a fourth place team. The Mets are the big brothers now. They own New York. The Mets didn't even make the postseason with Soto. And we were without Cole the whole season, and we still went to the freaking playoffs. I don't buy any of this stuff. I don't buy any of the propaganda, the talking points. Oh, hang on a second. Let me see. Let me see something here. Hang on a second. Hector just texted me. See if I can get him on here for a few minutes. Just texted Hector. The Knicks are playing extremely well. I just sent Hector the link. See if he can come on. Let's see. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The Dodgers are Hector. The Dodgers were in earlier on Tucker and Bellinger. He sent me some reporting from the winter meetings. Let's see. Bellinger. Yeah, I mean, it's too early to say which Schwarber makes the Hall of Fame. It's way too early for Schwarber. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm constantly updating here. Mm. Yep. The Dodgers are on watch right now to announce this potential trade. Hmm. That'd be a big one. That'd be a big one. Mm-mm. Yankees needs a starting pitcher, bullpen, right-handed bats, an outfielder, and that's who they're in on throughout the winter meetings. And again, this is going to be a work in progress for the next several weeks. Several weeks. If the Dodgers, I would agree with that too. MRN, what's going on? If the Dodgers get schooled, it would probably trigger the Yankees to make a couple of big counter moves. Yeah. Let's see. Well, the Dodgers would have to stay healthy. Too. They have to stay healthy. 112 likes, 215 people in here. Bichette, 50-50. But I'm hearing that he's very likely out on Boston. Bichette. So when the price is good, John, I'm not going to just trade him for the sake of trading him. He needs to get value back in the trades. Yeah. If they get Tatis, you can forget about Bellinger and Tucker. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. So do I. I want Alonso sign elsewhere too. Oh yeah, be nice if Alonso went to the freaking Baltimore Orioles or somewhere else, or the Brewers. I thought the Brewers would be a good team. Let him go to the National League and stick it to the Mets as often as he can. Because the Dodgers are probably really, really trying to get it. They're going to try and get a three-peat. That's my guess. And you never know. You get him now, you take him off the market because somebody can come up next year with a ridiculous offer or something like that, or he can go to the Dodgers and get hurt this year. A lot of things can happen. So you trade for a guy like that, you definitely want to try to secure an extension if you can. It's a rarity with a Scott Boras client, but if you can, a team like the Dodgers have the resources to make that happen, right? And I agree the Mets did Alonso dirty. They definitely did him dirty. Let's see here. Uh, Looking here, see. Yep, no. Looks like they're trying to finalize this Dodgers Tigers. I mean, you never know; it could fall apart in the last minute too. So you never know. You never know. I sent Hector the link, Hayden. So I don't know. Wilson Contreras. The problem with Wilson Contreras is he's expensive. So yeah, I hope Alonso signs elsewhere too. Hope they lose Alonso and Diaz. When the price is right, John. When the price is right for them. Well, they got to be healthy, Pixel, if they pull off Scooble. Well, it sounds like Emmett Sheehan is just one of the top headlining prospects that would be heading to the Tigers in this trade. Still waiting on the final details here. Beagle, always have a great night, my man. I'll wrap this up in a few minutes too, by the way, guys. They use Soto money to get players. I mean, that's how they got Freed and Bellinger and Goldsman. They got a lot of players last year. But if you're gonna spend Soto money, you got to get Soto production, Soto value too. That's the other thing too. Yeah, apparently the Red Sox are discussing Seager and Ketel Marte. Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell, Scuba, Otani. Who else do they have over there? I don't know who else they have. Roki Sasaki, who I think will be in the bullpen. It'll be a crazy rotation. A crazy rotation. Yeah, Glasnow will probably be the number 5. We don't know, Jeff. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get it over the finish line right now. So Dodgers got to win a couple more movies. Get a three-peat, and then you can start talking about dynasty. Where are you going to play Billy and Tucker? They would be fighting for the same position. It doesn't make any sense to get both of them. Toronto did take him to the brink. Yes, they did. You got to have a lot of things go right to get to the World Series and to win World Series. So the Dodgers got healthy at the right time, right? Ken, there he is. What do you know, man? Yeah, Sheehan did come. Yes, he did. He apparently would be the headlining uh, player to go back to the Tigers if this got over the finish line tonight or tomorrow. Nemo's going to play the outfield, I think. Right? Is it Nemo an outfielder? No, Ben's going to be the first base. Blue Jays, well, so far, well, they got better in the rotation so far. They added Cease, but they lost Boa, as we know right now. So there's still a lot of things that have to happen for the Blue Jays. And they have to improve the bullpen as well. So, like I said, John, I keep saying it. They're waiting for the prices to be not ridiculous. Prices are super high right now in free agency and trades. Yeah. Where would you play Harper as the thing too? I don't know what the Red Sox prospect offer is for Ketel Marte. They have one of the top farmers in the system in the league too. I appreciate you, legend. Welcome to the Dodgers fans. You're always welcome here too, my man. Yeah, my man NFE. Bro, I don't know if you heard, the Padres are now taking phone calls on Mason Miller as of about a half an hour ago. And the Dodgers, it looks like the Dodgers and Tigers are trying to put the finishing touches on this trade for Scooble, according to the reports. We'll see if it actually gets over the finish line. Yeah, Rice is our first baseman, I think. Asking prices are crazy high, yeah. Yeah. Um, let's see. No, nothing yet. Sometimes these final pieces take a while. And when you have Scott Boras as the agent, he's going to try to get, he's a tough one to deal with. Right? As of this point, if the Yankees trade for Donovan, get Okamoto, get Imai, and now that if you get two of these Padres relievers, that would be my perfect Yankees offseason. To me. Well, they don't really need Mason Miller now. They got Diaz, they got Tanner Scott, and I don't think the Padres would trade Mason Miller to the Dodgers. I highly doubt it. Tucker and Amaya would be, I think, a lot of people's perfect offseason. It could still happen. You never know. I don't rule out anything when it comes to Brian Cashman. You never know. He just sits and waits, and then all of a sudden, the market disappears and he pounces. Like, we never know what's going to happen with this guy. No. Torleyville announced that Martin isn't going anywhere during the winter meetings today. Well, apparently they're having discussions tonight, so I don't know. That could be a smoke. I don't know what. I have no idea. If they got Tucker, cool. They got Bellinger, cool. So, not doing anything right now, man. But they're active and engaging in a lot of trades right now. So, constructs their team. Well, he's never had a losing season in 27 years of being a GM. Not one. That's what we're hearing, Wookie. The Dodgers are trying to finalize a trade for Scooble, but they're haggling over the extension, and then they agree that you need ownership to sign off on both sides, and so there's some finishing touches, and sometimes putting that icing on the cake is harder than the actual cake. So yeah, yeah. The Dodgers have a lot of prospects to trade. A lot of prospects to trade. Yeah, I would encourage folks to breathe too and not overreact right now. The longest Yankees World Series drought. The longest drought was George Steinbrenner, and 18 or 19 years under Big George, the boss. Yeah, 78 to 96. And they also sucked the entire 80s. They sucked. Cashman's never had that. We're like a last place team. Empire State Building, 34th Street, just off of Fifth Avenue, between Fifth and Sixth Avenue in Manhattan. 19 years. Thank you, Ken. Never won a World Series without George and Jeter. I didn't realize George played CWE. And they would not won those World Series in 98, 99, and 2000 and 2009 without all the moves that Cashman made. So it goes both ways. Remember who Cashman brought in 98? El Duque, David Wells, Scott Brocious, all Cashman. All those moves that he brought in those other four world championships. Jeter would not have won those titles by himself with the core four. Okay. Nobody said they built the core four, but the core four would not have won all the championships without them. Yeah, I'm not ruling anything out. This is what happens. There's a lot of talk right now. The back end of the winter meetings. There's a lot of talk. So we could wake up tomorrow, get up tomorrow to pee, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, he did that. Whoa. Yeah, it was like the core six. Tino, O'Neill, Bernie, exactly. All guys were imports, except for Bernie was drafted, but Tino was an import. So was O'Neill in a trade. So those crappy '80s teams. These are all George Steinbrenner. I don't think the Yankees need to get Scooble in the trade. I would just try to get Imai. If you can get Imai from Japan, I would happy with Imai. If they why you never know, man. You never know if they woke up like with Bichette. If his market collapses, I have no idea. O'Neill was for Roberto Kelly, yes. George inherited a repeat. He bought the team right before they won those championships. Let's not forget that either. If you can get it in my and a couple of relievers from the Padres, man, I'd be happy. That's right. We got another boatsman here, Udall. That's right. Another shipman. Yep. All the prices are super high right now, Athletic J. So unfortunately, that's the reality that we're living in. What blockbuster trades have happened? Right? Tucker's, yeah, I think he's gonna get between 3 and 400 million. I agree. CWA, I agree. Yep. Well, after Schwarber signed, and like 5 minutes later, Edwin Diaz signed, and all of a sudden things started to stall again. So yeah, the Padres gave Leo DeVry. Yes, they did. But now the Padres are in a mess right now with the ownership. So yeah. So again, I prefer Cashman being stealth like this and quiet. We'll see. Blame the tariffs. That's right. They bring in $30 trillion. Yeah, okay. $30 trillion in revenue, right? Uh, my guess is if that report is true, then he's already placed a phone call. Yes, they are JC Scar. They're fielding calls on JC Scar. That's true. Yes, indeed. Alonso, I mean, he could go to OBF. If he goes to the Baltimore Orioles, be a nice spot for him. Yankees are looking for a relief pitcher for Escara. Last I heard, too. Hmm? Yeah, I'm still waiting for it, and we're still waiting for our $5,000 Doge check too, right? Yeah, what a scam! What a scam! We're more focused on because we led most of the categories CWA in offense, and pitching is what collapsed in the postseason. We still average the same amount of runs per game than the Dodgers did. 4 runs per game in the postseason, but their pitching shut everybody down. Ours did not. And the Yankees have to fortify their pitching while still looking to fortify the offense too. But they would be nuts to not add a starting pitcher and a multiple relievers. Absolutely nuts. Yeah. Work. Yeah, I know exactly. It's coming in 2 weeks, David. In 2 weeks. Yeah. Uh, They could add a big bat. We don't know. But I mean, just remember, big bats don't solve pitching problems. I mean, it might get them to average 10 runs a game, which would be great. But if they're giving up 12 runs a game, then they lose. So big bats only going to do so much. Yep. Gas prices. Yeah. I mean, where I'm at, they're still up high threes. Yeah. Bellinger's got versatility. He'll be. He's gonna. He's gonna have a nice market. A nice market for his services. No, not good Boras. She's such a joke. Donovan, they're still haggling over price, and they're still haggling over secondary players in the trade, as far as we know. So I don't know yet, John. But it's good that Cashman's quiet. 250. I wish it was 250 here. It's high threes by me. I'm on the East Coast, so Toronto scored a boatload of runs. Yeah, Max Fried did turn down Team USA. Yes, he did. 269 New York. Where? Upstate New York? It's not in New York City. I don't know how many pitches Mason Miller has, but he's got the best fastball in baseball too. So I know he's been working on it. Nah, it's not finalized yet. It's going to take some time. I doubt the Red Sox going to get 3 guys. Highly doubt. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. I'm going to take one quick last look here to see. Then I'll let you guys go. But if something happens tonight, I probably will come back live. Just to, especially if this freaking trade actually gets finalized. Like, absolutely crazy. Mm. We'll see. Ken Rosenthal's actually chiming in now on the Scooble thing. And the Rangers are out taking offers at the winter meetings actively right now for Corey Seager. They're actively talking to people at the winter meetings for Seager, not only the Red Sox. I don't think Tatis is going to happen, but if you can get Miller and Miguel, man, my God. Yeah. Man, I mean, Hector might have fallen asleep. He was there all day, so I'll try to get him on tomorrow. Tomorrow's the Rule 5 draft, so we'll see which Yankee prospects get taken. So, yep. Nothing right now. We're just waiting on to see if no, Rosenthal hasn't confirmed either way, JKP. Hasn't confirmed either way. Said it's going to take a lot because the Dodgers still want, I mean, the Tigers still want to compete too. So, yep. Cashman is still there. Yep, he's still there. No. But we'll see, gang. Again, appreciate you all coming on. That's the latest, right? We know the big signings are today already. Schwarber back to the Phillies, Diaz to the Dodgers, Gregory Soto not that big, but to the Pirates. And there's a lot of trade chatter, and the Dodgers right now are trying to get a trade for Tarek Skubal pushed over the finish line. Like I said, if it becomes official, you'll know about it, I promise you. And I'll be back here tomorrow. So go have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace and love to all of you. Go Knicks. Go Yankees. Love you guys. See you next time.